recording so we could watch this again later. I think it'll be great to go back to this as well. And I also share this on Facebook, so I'll do this just now. Great. And so tell us why you're joining us as well, because at the moment we have people from all over the world, and this is something that I think is wonderful, is that, you know, we can do this and really expand the boundaries and, you know, be really boundless in that respect. Okay. So I think this is sharing on Facebook. I'm just going to double check. Hi, Helen from Lancaster. And so, Sarah, you are in England.
I'm from Spa.
Yeah.
Near sort of Warwick and Coventry, just south of Birmingham. So that's where I am.
Okay, so.
Hello, Lisa.
Oh yeah, can you see the chat as well? Yeah. Hi everybody, Aberdeen, Laura. Oh, it's so nice to see. And you know, there are people that I've met at Scapa Fest, but there's also lots of other people that I don't know, and it's so.
Hi, Helen.
So, okay, so I'm gonna share this on Facebook now, and then we'll get started. So find somewhere comfortable, and we'll start in a few seconds. I wish there was a way to do this automatically. Bear with me, please. I just want to make sure that we can share this with other people as well. There you go.
We're getting very high tech these days, all of us.
Yeah. Well, okay. Okay, it's preparing the live stream. So I think we should get started, Sarah. So first of all, you know, so we started the Scapa House Fest yesterday, last night, and this is a big evolution for Scapa, because we're so used to experiencing ourselves and others through our bodies and in complete immersion in nature as well. So this is a beautiful opportunity for us to experience something else in this virtual space. I am very curious about what we can create together, and it is proper co-creation. It's an opportunity for collaboration with people from all over the world. And I think there is something wonderful that can happen from this. And so this week is going to be about exploring everything that we can do and see what else can unfold from this. This morning, we are going to spend the next hour together with Sarah. Sarah, we've met a very long time ago. We used to live very close from one another. You had a camper van that had a garden, like a mini garden that grew.
Still has a garden of moss growing in the thing, but it's in tip-top shape, of course, because my husband has nothing else to do but work on it, so we can't go anywhere yet, but it's ready to go.
How amazing is that? And you know, this is a detail from you that I really remember really vividly, is this lovely garden that grew on the dashboard. But you also, so you're a yoga teacher, you're a meditation teacher, you are a writer as well. Yeah. You run a podcast called Messy Luminous Being, and I'll pop the link to it in the chat box as well for people who would like to subscribe. I really, really recommend you do. There you go. Oh, there you go. And yeah, listen, over to you now. Yes, I think we've got lots of people signed up right now, and let's create this beautiful space. Okay.
Hello, everybody. It is so wonderful to be here with you. And yeah, I'm sort of, I think we're all having that moment, aren't we, of feeling like, oh, we were meant to be in a tent together. But as Clem says, I hope that we'll have a lovely session this morning, and I'm able to share some of what I was going to share in the beginning of May right now with you. So what I want you to do is just see if you can sit somewhere comfortable, and it really doesn't matter where you are. So you can be on a meditation cushion, you can be on a couch, you could be in your kitchen, you can be wherever you are. So if you can, just take a moment and see if you can feel sort of gravity on your body. So it takes your shoulders down, it relaxes your arms and your legs. And you can feel that sort of quality of solidity and strength and stability that the physical body has to offer us. So just take a moment with that. And then you can feel that complementary feeling of lightness, of spaciousness that kind of comes with the breath and with all the sort of soft tissue in our body, and reminds us of that spacious quality that is really where we find a sense of ease, physically and emotionally, and maybe spiritually too. So just sitting with that and allowing those two sensations to really bring you into you. So as we exhale, we feel that sort of gravity, and as we inhale, we feel that sort of lift that comes up through the spine and makes a bit of space. And it's interesting because we can't see each other, of course, but I want you to see if you can just first acknowledge the presence inside of you that is here. And you just feel that sense of, here I am. And I want you to see if you can just feel the sense of not only me, but everybody else that has signed in right now that's part of the beautiful Scapa community and beyond. And see if you can just, along with your own presence, kind of just feel the presence of everybody. Now we've got an interesting situation with ourselves in this online space and me being at home. And so we have to work with where we are. And this is the beautiful lesson of meditation. So there might be interruptions on your side. There's rain pounding on the roof. So you'll hear that in the background maybe. There's so many things about the noise and the space that we can't control. But what we have to remind ourselves is that everything we need is inside of us, and we're working with our minds. So everything that happens outside of us is okay, and interruptions are okay, and noise is okay, and not having a perfect, clean meditation space is okay. And I think sometimes, and this really comes from my own story and journey with meditation, but sometimes, you know, having that beautiful space with that beautiful meditation cushion and that beautiful candle and stuff, and while I'm all about that, and that's amazing, I also think that sometimes it can give us the impression that our practice is somehow going to be better for it, And actually it can make us forget a little bit where we're working, which is, of course, inside ourselves. So we don't worry so much. And this is a real gift because the year that I started my meditation training was also the year that I had my first son. And so I have never practiced in a perfectly clean and wonderful space. I've always practiced within the sort of messiness of what our real life is like. So it's absolutely possible. And it's something really to embrace. And I've called this session moments of meditation because sometimes what we have is a couple of moments, and it's very easy to dismiss these moments as not enough. I suppose in the same way that we can dismiss ourselves as not quite enough. And what I hope that you'll feel at the end of this session is a real conviction that even small moments can make a huge difference in the inside of you, in your inner experience. And that taking these moments can really bring out qualities in yourself that aren't available always to us because we don't allow them out very much. So first, as you said, I want you to just take your arms out to the side, and maybe you breathe the arms up and you just give a good stretch. Maybe you lean to one side, so you stretch the side of the body. And you lean to the other side. And then you come back. And maybe you roll your shoulders up to your ears, and then get your shoulders a little bit to relax away from your ears. And I want you to really feel the inside of you. The first short practice that we're going to do together is about really tapping into the quality of stillness that we have inside of us that really isn't affected by the sound outside of us. So if you do listen to the podcast, Clem, in her episode, which is gorgeous, says a really beautiful thing about microdosing silence, and that doesn't mean that it has to be silent on the outside. So what I want you to do is just sit with this. Keep relaxing the body, keep allowing that lift to come through the spine and gently up through the crown of the head so that your chin slightly tucks. And I want you to see if you can imagine that you're sort of sinking in through the layers of your body so that at first you feel the presence of your physical body. And then you feel the presence of the movement of your breath. And I want you to see if you can just feel that movement without judgment. You don't need it to go anywhere different. I want you to see if you can relax the breath. Like, to what extent can you continue to relax? And there's this really beautiful story that I heard about when Mother Teresa was getting interviewed by a news reporter, and he asked her what she does when she prays. And she said, "I listen." And then he asked her, "Well, does God say anything back?" She said, "He listens." And whether or not we have a belief in some kind of outside power or not, I think that description of listening in, of just listening, of just being that aware presence, like we are sometimes with our friends when we're listening to them, It's a really beautiful gift we can give ourselves. So I want us to see if we can, with that really loving spirit, just listen in, whatever that is meaning for you. Just listening in for just a few moments. We are aware of the body and of the movement of the breath, but we're also just gently aware of that sense of presence, that awareness that's sort of listening in with that kindness to whatever is there. Sometimes it takes a little while for stillness to come upon us. And although we think about stillness as something that's a lack of movement that we can see, a lot of us will know, and you'll be feeling, that stillness is something that sort of slowly sinks into us. Or maybe we sink into it. And so you just keep relaxing into that quietness that's inside of you and allowing yourself to listen. And then I want you to just relax. So take a nice easy breath in and sigh out. Sighing is one of my favorite things. So if you really only have a moment, sighing is something that can really reset the body. And I know I see that you're noticing the rain. So it hasn't been raining for weeks and weeks, but you've got that tap tap on the rain. Most of us in Scotland will know what that's about. So here we are. And what I want you to do, if you have access to either the comments on the in the chat, or if you have access to, if you're watching this on Facebook and you have access to the comments there, I want you to see if you can reach over, because what I'd really like to do is have a moment to connect with each other. And so it's quite easy, I think, to feel sometimes like we're alone in our experiences, or that we're somehow, it's easy to look out at other people and feel like they have it more together than we do. And there's a lot of that misperception. And the thing that's so beautiful about Scapa, as well as all genuine communities and friendships, is that feeling of togetherness. And so what I want you to do is just relax where you're sitting. And I was going to say raise your hand, but what I'd really like us to do is just, if in the moments when you'd raise your hand and say, yes, me, I want you to just put a yes or a Y into the comments so that we can see each other's presence here and that we can feel each other. So if you feel like you want to put your hands on your heart, you can. And if you want to just rest them in your lap somewhere on your knees, you can. And I want you to just imagine that we're in that tent and we're together. And I want you to raise your hand or say yes in the comments if you know what it's like to go through something hard. You know what it's like to go through something hard. Yeah. I want you to raise your hands if you know what it's like to be afraid, to feel afraid. And I want you to raise your hand if you know what it's like to see someone you love go through something hard and you feel that in your heart. You feel that pain. Yeah. I want you to raise your hand if you have dreams. I want you to raise your hand if you have dreams and you also have that feeling like, what if they don't happen? Yeah. Yes, for me with all of these, that's how I came up with them. Raise your hand if you wish you could get more things right. Who here wishes they didn't yell as much? Maybe their kids. Who here wishes that the stuff that they're carrying, they could let go? Who has stuff that they just wish they could let go? Yeah. Who here has gotten their feelings hurt by somebody and that person didn't even know that they did anything? And who here has felt that feeling of you're crying and you don't let anybody know? Think how that happened before. Who here has felt joy? That joy that you're just like, this means everything, and I just want to keep this and bottle it up and hold on to it forever. It's so good. That joy. Who here has felt surprised by how much you can love somebody? That you feel that I didn't even know it was possible to love someone this much. Yeah. And I'm saying these things because we feel when we connect to this humanness of us and we look at all the people that are putting yes and raising their hand to these things, and you can feel it. You can feel the energy shift in your body when you connect to the very humanness that we have and we all experience, and not just the people that are sitting with us now, but everybody that we know and love, and everybody walking out on the streets, you know. And I'm saying these things because I want us, because we can't look around in our beautiful tent by the side of Loch Fyne and see each other. I want us to know that you are not alone. And this is where we start with meditation. We start in this very vulnerable and very human and very beautiful place of open-heartedness. and connection to each other. And the reason why I wanted to take you through this is not only for that feeling of connection that it brings to us as a group, but also because we need to understand why we practice in order to understand where we practice. And we don't practice to get perfect at meditation. We practice for all the stuff that we just said, and for all of the feeling that you have when you know that you're not the only one that feels this way, that everybody feels this way, and that everybody is in this life together, and that we're all together. And so the only place to practice is the messy beautifulness that is your life, whatever that looks like, with the messy laundry and the dishes in the dish, you know, in the sink or the dishwasher, and the kids that sometimes fight, and, you know, your difficult relationships and your beautiful moments, and all of the things, that's where we practice. So my real sense is that people feel alienated sometimes from meditation because they think that they take it very seriously, that it seems like a very serious practice, and that it seems like something that you have to have a calm mind to do, or that you have to have all your stuff together. And in fact, it's a real practice of just coming into the wholehearted experience of what it is to live our lives, and to try to transform, to not only become aware, but to transform our negative thought patterns that bring more suffering than's necessary into something really beautiful. So we practice in the mess because that's where we live, and you know, we practice in the mess because that's where we have the most connection to each other. And that's where we can learn the most. You can't learn patience unless someone's testing your patience. It's the hard truth of life, isn't it? We practice in the mess because the Instagram pictures of other people's lives, and especially of meditation, do not exist. Sorry. It's even if anyone's been on retreat, they know that when you sit with a bunch of people with serene looks on their face, nobody comes over afterwards and says the inside of me was as serene looking as the outside. And we practice in the mess because that's where everybody else lives too, and there's that beautiful connection that we have with each other that brings about that feeling that we don't want to just help ourselves, we want to help everybody. And I don't know how many of you know Glennon Doyle, but she's written this wonderful book recently called Untamed. And I was listening to a podcast with her recently, and she said that one of those things that sort of like, you know, just make you stand still. She said there's no such thing as one-way liberation. And I thought, that's the Bodhisattva vow. That's the, I work to free myself so that I can help free all beings from this self-inflicted stuff that we do to ourselves in our own heads. And she was using it as, when you free yourself, other people see the possibility. They see that possibility, that possible path. And again, that's what's so powerful about Scapa and about us all being part of this, is that, you know, it's much better to show the way yourself. It's a really powerful thing to do. And we also practice in this beautiful mess so that we are kinder to ourselves about the messiness that we are, because we know that this is just being human. So now, the next practice I want to talk you through, bring you through, is about reframing the way that we think about ourselves. And a lot of times it's really easy to focus on all the parts of us that are really messy, you know. And if we think about enlightenment, you know, or we think about even having a calm mind, sometimes it can seem very far away. But the Buddhists and meditation teachers believe that inside every one of us is the potential to awaken, and that we don't have to be special, and we don't have to be different, and we don't have to get something from outside of us. And so what all that we have to do is recognize what we already are. And that just involves peeling back layers of things. It means letting go of things, not adding things on. So this practice is really about reconnecting to the part of you that's already everything. It's already enough, it's already luminous, it's already wise, it's already connected. It already, you know, is full of love. So if you just take a little stretch out with your hands. And I want you to just see if you can bring your awareness from me or from this conversation back into yourself so that you're aware of your body and you're aware of your breath. And I want you to see if you can take a nice, easy breath in and sigh out. And it might help to close your eyes for this one. And I want you to just allow the eyes to close, allow the body to relax, and just feel that gentle lift come through the spine so that the spine kind of stacks in a really, like a straight tower of blocks so that it's effortless, as much as is possible for you right now. So one of the greatest gifts that my own meditation teacher always said was to the best of your ability. And that's a real gift because it means that we don't judge. So just to the best of your ability, allow the spine to rise and just relax. And I want you to allow the breath to relax, and maybe the breath comes down into the belly. And you just invite it there. We don't push it, don't insist on where the breath goes, but you just relax any tension in your stomach and lower abdomen so that the breath can kind of make its own way down into the lower lungs and maybe into the back. And you feel that gentle rhythm of the breath. And I want you to imagine that as you breathe in, the breath awakens a light inside of you, like many little glittering bits of light. And at first, you might just feel that in your abdomen. You can imagine it there. And that light might be like a golden light. You might visualize it like a crystal white light. But you just keep relaxing the breath. So you don't need to take in any more air. That soft, light breath that you have is enough. But as each breath comes in, it just sort of awakens or enlivens that light inside of you so that you start to feel that light expand through your chest. And you feel that sense of warmth and that sense of ease and sort of spaciousness that it is bringing into your awareness. And you just keep relaxing, keep softening the edges of all of this. Relax the trying. And each time you gently allow the breath to come into the body, more little bits of light awaken inside of you so that maybe you feel that light starting to spread through your whole torso so that the chest, the back, down into the hips, up into the shoulders, it all feels very easy and full of light. Full of that beautiful, spacious light. And as you breathe in, that breath starts to awaken that light inside of your arms and legs. Maybe at first it just comes to your upper arms and your upper legs. And you feel slowly that each gentle breath is awakening a bit more, and that light is gently spreading so that that sense of ease and that sense of spaciousness and warmth kind of spreads down your arms and into your forearms and down your legs. And so you're aware of that vast and beautiful sort of spaciousness inside of the whole of the center of your body and your arms and your legs. And you just keep that breath slowly and gently coming in and out, just as relaxed and natural as you can. Eventually, you feel that light begin to awaken in your hands and your feet, and up into your neck and jaw and face. So that you gently breathe in and out. And that breath creates the conditions for this arising of the light spaciousness inside of you. And you just relax into that. Maybe you feel your whole body is full of that beautiful white or golden light, and you feel that sense of ease and spaciousness all the way down to your fingers, through your hips and legs, down to your feet. And you might feel that light begins to come out of the edges of your skin with little pinpricks of light. So as you gently breathe in, that breath awakens more and more with that quality of light and spaciousness inside of you. And that begins to move through even the edges of your body so that that light starts to come out through the pores of your skin, through your back and your chest and your face and your hands and legs. And each time you breathe in, more of that light is awakened and comes out of all parts of your body. And then I want you to see if you can take a nice deep breath in and imagine that that breath comes in a bit cooler. And you give a nice gentle sigh out. And it's as if that nice cool breath is like blowing that golden mist or that white light mist gently away. And as that mist clears, you start to feel the edges of your body again. And maybe you just give your hands a little bit of a movement. Flex your fingers maybe. And you might want to take another nice deep breath in and then sigh out. And you feel the gravity again on your body, and you feel the edges of your body. And you feel that lovely quality of solidity and groundedness to your body. And then I want you to see if you can either just sit in a relaxed way or gently open your eyes and allow the eyes to relax on the floor in front of you. I wanted to read you a bit from Eckhart Tolle's New Earth. He has this beautiful bit that always has stayed with me about our experience of looking up at the night sky. We're going to do this together when we find ourselves together again. But he says, when you look up at the night sky and you feel that sense of just awe, that sort of amazement at the profundity of the universe and the sky, that sense of awe doesn't come from the planets and the suns and stars that we see. It doesn't come from the things. That sense of awe comes from that feeling of space, the vastness and the profoundness of space. He says, you cannot see space, of course, nor can you hear, touch, taste, or smell it. So how do you know it exists? The essence of space is no thingness, so it doesn't exist in the normal sense of the word. Even calling it space can be misleading because by naming it, you make it into an object. But let us put it like this. There is something within you that has an affinity with space. That is why you can be aware of it. There's something within you that has an affinity with space, and that's why we can be aware of it. When you are aware of space, you are not really aware of anything except awareness itself, the inner space of consciousness. So I thought that was beautiful and a wonderful reminder to us that the things that we take ourselves to be are often not how it is. And that includes that messy bit of us. Oftentimes that messy bit of us is only a little bit of the story of who we are. And I wanted to share my seeds with you. So I have, we had the conundrum of what to plant in our garden when all the garden centers were shut. And so my husband went rooting around in the garage and found, some packets of seeds. And some of them were a bit out of date. He found some pepper seeds that were from 2014 or something. And he found these packet of tomato seeds that were from 2008. So before my oldest son was born. So we planted them in this container and we watered them, and here they are, these beautiful little things. You can see we've got 3 of them coming up now. So you put these little, very attractive Tupperwares on the kitchen counter, windowsill. And the peppers have come up weeks ago. They look quite cute. We just kept watering this other little pot of soil, convinced really that nothing was going to happen to it. And, it could have. Nothing could have happened to it. But one day, at the early bit of the week, we saw that first little seed come up, and it looked like this little one at the front. And that's potential of over 10 years waiting for the right conditions to become something else. And as a meditation teacher, I get very excited because the profundity of having a seed that is this tiny little, almost nothing thing. It's hard. It doesn't look like it has any life in it. The fact that you can put that thing in a packet and leave it for 10 years, more than 10 years, and then you put it in soil and you water it and you put it on the windowsill and it becomes something else is the most profound. I don't know what else there is to put our faith in. There's so much inside of us that we don't know. That if this is what can happen to a tomato seed after 10 years plus, what potential do we have inside of us? And is our identification with all the messy parts of us and all the parts that we think don't live up to, and all the parts that we wish were doing better at something, how much that's just a very, very small part of the story of who we are. So I want you to hold on to that, because for a long time when we practice it first, what we see is our mess. And we see how we can't calm our minds, and we spend most of our time sitting and our thoughts take us away. And so we have to hold on to these things and trust the process as well. And so these kinds of images help us to have faith during those times, that if we just put ourselves in the conditions again and again and again, other aspects that we haven't seen before will arise. And it's not that they're not already in us, it's just that the conditions for them to come out weren't there before. So I hope that's convinced you a little bit. I'm going to hold on to my little image of my seed. This is probably going to be in my heart kind of forever now. So I want to sort of finish this session up with one more practice session. But first, I want to just say a few words about how do we practice. I call this session Moments of Meditation. And we've sat together, doing this thing that feels a bit more like proper. I don't know how it is on your side. For me, I don't have my kids around me. I'm on my meditation cushion. It all looks like it was supposed to look. But this is not where I practice 99% of the time. And when I was first practicing, I was so frustrated because when I was doing all my courses with my teacher, and my teacher trained in a school of Tibetan Buddhism that's associated with the Kagyu lineage. And so this comes from a very traditional place. And so the instructions to sit were very traditional. It was like what we think of as meditation. You find a cushion and you sit for 20 or 30 minutes and you do these things. And I had an infant that never slept, and then a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old that never slept. I kept waiting for him to sleep. He wasn't sleeping. He just didn't sleep through the night. Glad I didn't know how long that was going to go on when I first had him. And then I had my second son, and then I have 2 children. And so my life doesn't look like a monastery, and it doesn't look like retreat. And we need to find ways of incorporating this practice into our hearts, into our lives as they are, not how we want them to be or how it is on retreat. And I think that back then I really needed somebody to look me in the eye and say, like, it's still going to work. Like, it's still going to help you. This practice is still accessible to you, and you're not going to get left behind. And I didn't have anybody telling me that, because my teacher was a guy and he didn't have kids, and he could only pass on things that he had heard other people say. But in this aspect, there wasn't, particular advice. And so what I can say now, after 10 years, is that it's absolutely possible to practice under all conditions, and you don't have to have a perfect life, and you don't have to have it all together more than you do already. You just practice inside of you with whatever you've got, and our aim is to practice without conditions. So we learn to practice with our eyes open so that we can be inside ourselves whenever we want, and we don't require a meditation cushion, and we don't require someone talking us through a meditation. We know what to do in our minds to relax and let go of the things that we're holding on to really tightly. So practicing in messy life, once I let go of my own expectations, I started to hear that actually what the meditation teachers were saying was short and often. So short might mean 3 breaths. Doesn't necessarily mean 10 minutes. It could mean 5 breaths. It could mean I'm in my car and I would say you stop before you go to work, but maybe you get out of the grocery store and doing your shopping, and you have that stress, and you take 3 breaths, you take 5 breaths, you take 10 breaths, and you just allow the mind that is perceiving all of the stress and sensations in your body to relax. So you don't have to let go of what's happening in you, but you try to see if you can relax the mind that is experiencing these things. And that's what we learn to do. And I mean, it's a practice, so we just keep practicing, and I just keep practicing, and it works, and I also have to keep practicing. So short and simple. Don't make it a big deal. It doesn't have to be a big deal. The other thing I thought was really helpful is that I heard someone say it's better to focus on the trajectory than your position. So oftentimes we're really concerned with our position, where we are in comparison to other people, and often that means we fall short. So what is more important is to think, I'm on the trajectory, I'm going in the direction of. So what I want you to do is, in the comments, I want you to have a moment to just think, what do I want from meditation when you showed up here today? Maybe you didn't know what you were getting into. What would you love your mind to be like? Maybe it's a word you put in the comments. The thing I hear all the time is calm, but maybe for you it's something else. Maybe it is calm. What do you wish it was like? That sense of inner peace. Yes, still. Creative. I love that. Yeah. And there's so much that blocks our creativity with fear and all the stuff that keeps us like this, isn't it? So meditation is so helpful for me with that acceptance. I love that. Yeah. I bet all of us are going, yeah, that for me too. Self-belief. Yeah. Being more centered. Yeah. That's really lovely one. I don't know how much. I often have a delay on these things, so I might be like really behind you guys. Contentment, balance, stillness. Yeah. So these are really beautiful things. So what I want you to think is that's the trajectory that you're on. So that's where you're going. Not every session is going to be like that, but it's okay if you just focus on the trajectory. So if you focus on the fact that you practiced a little bit today, even if that was you took 3 breaths in the kitchen and you were really there and you looked at your mind. So you looked at your mind that experiences the thing. Yeah. So we just use that as an idea of like, we're adults, we don't need instant gratification like my children do about pad. When can I have pad? I need it now. I need to play Minecraft immediately. We have to be adults, unfortunately. So in every session, it's okay if we don't get that calm, stillness centered feeling. We know that this practice will absolutely bring all of these things, and sometimes in a way that we didn't expect it to. So we just have to work where we are, and we just practice little bits. And we imagine that like little drops make an ocean thing. We just start putting those drops in. So let's take a nice deep breath in and out. And then I want you to just settle back in. And I'd really love if you tried to practice with your eyes open. This is the tradition that I've been taught in, is to practice with your eyes open. And that is, again, so that we can practice all the time. And if you've ever driven home and been totally thinking about something else and suddenly you realize you've gotten yourself home, then we know that having your eyes open doesn't mean that you're not able to be dragged off with thoughts, and it certainly doesn't mean you can't be inside of you. So this is something that's really a really nice thing to practice, because it gives you something really profound. So I want you to just relax your shoulders. See if you can give your body a movement that says this is no big deal. Just pull your wrists, do what you need to do. And then you feel your body. And then you feel your breath. And I want you to imagine that you're just relaxing. You can either think about it as relaxing into that feeling of the present moment, or you can imagine that you're relaxing the mind without to lose that sense of clarity. Like, we're not going into dullness, but sort of allowing a sense of spaciousness or openness to come into the mind. And I want you to imagine that thoughts, we sort of have like butterfingers with our thoughts. So our thoughts might come in, and just, that's okay. We don't worry about thoughts. They come in, just don't hold on to them. Just let them pass through and be with you. As long as you are aware and you're in that space of awareness, then you're exactly where you need to be. And the mind can kind of be that television in the background that you don't really pay attention to anymore. So you just enjoy that sense of open spaciousness of your mind and that awareness of the present moment that is just right here. That sense of presence. And if a thought arises, we have nice, soft hands and we don't grab on. So this presence and awareness is that same kind of acknowledgement that we did at the beginning of the session when we acknowledged our presence here. That beautiful open-heartedness, open spaciousness presence that you bring. And this calm clarity, this luminous spaciousness, we use words because that's what we have, but you find what it feels like to you. These things are natural qualities of the mind that arise in everybody under certain conditions. So that means that you don't need to earn it, you don't need to be better, you don't need to be different. We just have to practice putting ourselves into this beautiful space of practice, just for moments, in a no big deal way, so that it becomes part of us, part of who we are, it feels natural. All right. I want you to take a nice deep breath in, a little bit deeper than you would normally, and just sigh out. It has been so gorgeous to practice with you and to share some of this, and it's so I'm so grateful that you all have come this morning, and yeah, let's stay in touch. And I always want to make sure that if anyone has any questions, that I'm available for that too. I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you so much. I wish you were with us every morning for this. Behind my screen, I became quite emotional. It was really powerful, and so thank you so much. So thank you everybody who took part. This is really special, and I really want to continue doing this with all of you. So let's keep finding our beautiful ways to connect. And I'll see you in our next session tomorrow. Okay, have a beautiful day, everyone. See you soon. Bye, Sarah. Thank you so much.
See you, lovelies, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.